All right. Committee will go ahead and get started. I believe the last piece we have to discuss in this conference for now is House Bill 2021. And so we have a counter that we would like to share. So Natalie will hand that out. Actually, the discussions on it will be fairly brief. All right. So what you'll find through this is your guys' amendment that we actually just added a few pieces to or made a few changes. They're underlined and bold. And so there's about 4 of them. So we'll just touch on those real quick. On the front page, basically, we're simply asking that on or before January 1, 2024, the Secretary for Children and Families shall report on the implementation of this section and provide the assessment identified in subsection A to the Joint Committee on Corrections and Juvenile Justice Oversight. We just would like to know what tool they've decided to use and how they're implementing it. In addition, over the next few pages, we would still request that detention cap go up to 60 from 45 to 60. So just providing a little bit more leverage and a little bit more time in that situation. And that actually carries through in, I believe, 3 different places. We've accepted your language elsewhere. With the final change that we are requesting is the very last page. And that is on the grant program that we expand that beyond evidence-based community programs to include promising practices, because we know there's a lot of great programs out there that aren't specifically evidence-based, and we would like to have the opportunity for those grants to be received by organizations that do really great things that we know but don't qualify under that evidence-based program. So that is our counter and our request. Certainly.
These are the changes requested to the Senate offer. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you. Where would we be without Natalie? And if you'll recall, on our original offer, we had asked that House Bill 2033, the Juvenile Crisis Intervention Center change that went from mental health to behavioral health, that be as part of this as well. There's a copy of that, and quite literally, it's a big bill with just a few word changes. This is the one that passed our body unanimously. Johnson County is the one that really wants to open up the very first Juvenile Crisis Intervention Center in the state. But they feel that the wording as it is now is a little bit too narrow, focused on mental health. This broadens it to behavioral health crisis. Passed our House unanimously. I believe it went to Senate Health and fell below the line, or passed out of there and was below the line, but was stricken from the calendar.
Thank you. Appreciate the House counter offer to the Senate offer. Just a brief explanation from the reviser on 2033 are the changes, the proposed changes to current law in 2033 are they on page 6? I guess, where are they? I found a couple of them, 6, 19, and
Yes, Madam Chair. So the first change is to add a definition in the Child in Need of Care Code of a behavioral health crisis. That's the change that you're seeing on page 6. And then the next change.
19.
At the bottom of page 6, we're changing mental health crisis to behavioral health crisis. And that's the primary change that you'll see throughout the rest of the section to comport with that new definition of a behavioral health crisis. And then on page 13, we're adding that same definition in the Juvenile Offender Code of a behavioral health crisis. And then again, changing the reference from the mental health crisis to the behavioral health crisis.
Thank you. Is behavioral health crisis defined anywhere else in statute?
Madam Chair, I'm not sure if it's defined in different ways in other places throughout the statutes, but this was a totally new definition. This definition is not used in any other statute.
Where did the language come from?
Yeah, this was language that we just worked on. I worked with the juvenile intake folks from Johnson County to craft where they felt they could benefit the most amount of children when they came together as a community to create this center.
Thank you. Representative.
Refresh us on what the action was in the House on 2033.
So I can. Thank you, Madam Chair. The House passed it 123-0. It was referred to Public Health and Welfare on the Senate side, and they passed it out of committee with some amendments. Those amendments were technical in nature, but they actually changed some of the sub-element redesignation to where it didn't match up with other statutes. Anyway, I don't think you'd want to bring those changes in. They're technical, but they didn't really do what, they were intended to do. So
Thank you.
So the Senate changes in committee were not retained in what has been presented in this conference committee.
correct.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions right now. Does anyone on our side? I don't see any. So with that, then, appreciate the House counter to the Senate offer, and we will take this under advisement and be able to discuss it further tomorrow.
That'll work for us. Do we want to set a time? What time are you guys back in session?
We're at 10.
Do you want to meet back here at 9?
We already have some obligations such as caucus at 9 and
I'm fine. We can do 6 o'clock if that works.
I'd offer 9:30
9:30 is fine by me.
if that works.
Yep.
So,
We'll plan on being here at 9:30. We'll make sure that we get the room reserved, hopefully, but shouldn't be a problem since it sounds like others are winding down. So with that, we'll be adjourned. Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate it.